Hello and welcome to the Irish Aesthete. Previously, I've been talking about follies inspired by examples from the ancient world. Today, I want to talk about a kind of folly which really had no predecessor and was distinctly idiosyncratic, if not downright eccentric. Let me begin by explaining that in the 18th century, the fashion emerged among some landowners to have a resident hermit living in an appropriately rustic dwelling on their estate. Of course, going back to the time of St. Jerome or even earlier, there have always been hermits, usually people seeking seclusion for their own personal reasons, often connected with religious faith. The professional hermit was perhaps the most extreme manifestation of the period's interest in rustic buildings, to act as a counterpoint for the classicism then otherwise prevalent in architecture. Rustic follies were romantic and thrilling in a way that orderly classical design could never hope to be. Rustic follies also suggested it was possible to get in touch with nature more closely than would otherwise be the case. You didn't even need a resident hermit to enjoy this sensation, as can be seen in a number of estates around Ireland, such as that at Tullymore, County Down. The hermitage here is one of a number of structures built in the grounds, particularly on either side of the River Shimna as it runs through the estate. Tullymore's hermitage dates from 1770, when erected by James Hamilton, 2nd Earl of Clanbrassil, in memory of a deceased friend. Some 12 feet long and with a domed interior, the building is located on an outcrop of rock about 15 feet above the river. It looks entirely organic, as though always part of the setting. And this was an important feature of such rustic follies. Although man-made, they were only really entirely successful if the artifice involved was well concealed. We can see this with another rustic folly at Charleville Forest in County Offaly. It dates from around 1740 and is believed to have been designed by Hester, Countess of Charleville. As at Tullymore, the Charleville folly looks entirely natural, having been carefully fitted into the side of rising ground and beside running water. Only the evidence of window openings on the exterior betray its existence at all. Inside, a long passage leads to a vaulted chamber, the whole constructed with large uncut stones, just to increase the impression that this is a space that is a natural occurrence in which no human has intervened. Not all rustic grottos went to such trouble to conceal their man-made origins. That at Ballyfin, County Laois, for example, features an intentionally crude tetrastyle portico, as though to suggest that it had been built many millennia earlier by the area's first inhabitants. Probably dating from the 1760s, the grotto offers a second and, so to speak, more natural entrance, which, as at Charleville Forest, provides access to a passage leading to a large inner chamber. At Tullynally, County Westmeath, once again, it is possible to discern without a great deal of effort that the rustic grotto is a man-made construct. This little pavilion was one of the additions made to the castle's gardens in the 1780s by Edward Pakenham, 2nd Baron Longford. At that time, the estate's formerly designed grounds were being swept away in favour of something more natural and romantic. Located on a high site, the grotto looks southwest towards Loch Derravara, whence came the limestone from which its facade is constructed. The octagonal interior has a brick-lined roof which, like the walls beneath, would originally have been rendered. The Gothic seating is a recent addition. Larch Hill, County Kildare, has a domain replete with follies, probably more in the one place than anywhere else in Ireland. Among these is a recognisably rustic kind of folly known as the Fox's Earth. The then owner of the estate, Robert Watson, was a famous master of hounds in the 18th century who seemingly became convinced that his punishment for having killed so many foxes was to be reincarnated as one of them. So he created an earth in which, when he returned in the next life, refuge for him might be found. The folly is composed of an artificial mound on top of which sits a rustic variation of the kind of circular temple I was discussing in the last episode. At the front of the folly, a forecourt gives access to a rectangular chamber directly beneath the circular temple, the interior lit by Gothic arched entrance and 2 window openings. That's probably enough for the moment, but before I go, I just want to show you one more building. It's not a folly as such, but it gives you an idea of the extremes to which the enthusiasm for rustic might be taken. This is Breckland, County West Meade, which introduces visitors to a rustic variation of Palladianism, the central arch with pyramid belcut on top, being extended by matching chambers to either side, each topped by a pair of obelisks, before concluding in 2 smaller pinnacled structures. So it's not a folly as such, but a worthy conclusion to today's discussion. And in the next episode, I'll be looking at a type of folly that became particularly popular in the 19th century in Ireland. I look forward to seeing you then. Thank you so much for watching the Irish Aesthete. Goodbye.